You've spelunked into the Mat Cave. Hello, everybody. Quick episode here, just because we had some big news drop today, as of me recording this on May the 7th. And that is our Utah Hockey Club now has a new and permanent name. It's the Mammoth. And I don't hate it. I've texted a few people, and it's like, I told them I don't hate it. It could have been worse, but I preferred Utah Hockey Club. And you all know this. I prefer the Utah Hockey Club, in all honesty. I liked it. It's unique across the American sports spectrum. Nobody else really calls themselves that. And you keep it. It's simple. But we have our name. It is the Mammoth. So there's a lot of fluff pieces going on right now. ESPN, CBS, NHL.com, Bleacher Report, New York Times, The Athletic. A lot of puff pieces going out there about how this was such a unique process and how the fans got their voice heard and all this other stuff. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I didn't want it to take over my entire regular show. So here are some highlights about the process, and a lot of this research and information is from ESPN. So it took 13 months, which is true. The Utah Hockey Club, the Arizona Coyotes became the Utah Hockey Club, about 13 months ago now. More than 850,000 ballots were cast in multiple rounds of voting. So that wasn't like per round, right? Because that's almost the entire population of the state of Utah. And that not that many people care about hockey here. I don't want that to be true, but that's just how it is. And the Utah Mammoth was revealed as the new name and permanent identity. I didn't talk about the potential leak that happened, the gaffe that the Utah Mammoth, you have to get used to saying that, the Utah Mammoth social media team did when they renamed their YouTube channel a couple of days early. And so everybody was freaking out about that. If you've ever tried to create a YouTube channel or you've tried to rename one, you just have to do that. There's not really a way for you to contact YouTube or Alphabet Inc. that owns YouTube and say, hey, is this name taken? There's no way to do it without actually making the change of your name to that name. So that's why that happened. And I also want to read this quote from Ryan and Ashley Smith, the co-owners, governors, whatever you want to call them, of the Utah Mammoth. And they said, the community chose the Utah Mammoth brand, and it stands as a symbol of who we are, where we came from, and the unstoppable force we're building together. Yeah, sure. I mean, again, puff piece. It's all about marketing, branding, all that stuff, puff piece. They also said when it came to naming the team, we did something unprecedented, going through 4 rounds of community voting, including getting feedback not only on potential names, but also on potential logos. So that one perks my ears up a little bit because you could be running into people going like, well, I didn't give you permission and that's my logo. What are you doing? Like the guy who's suing Bungie. And I'm going to talk about this on Sunday, so a little sneak peek for you. But the guy who's suing Bungie, the creators of Destiny 2, about how they stole his idea for the Red War and how all of that, the original campaign of Destiny 2. Yeah, I could see that lawsuit coming down the pipe here. But furthermore, they went on to say, evidence suggests mammoths charged in herds at speeds exceeding 25 miles an hour, comparable to the speeds reached by the fastest skaters in the NHL. Yeah, sure. A lot of nonsense to me. I want to talk about the names as well. Or not the names, the name of the colors. Rock Black, Mountain Blue, and Salt White. All right. Okay, so we're black, blue, and white. There you go. I don't understand the need to, label a color for your logo. I don't know. But the logo itself, it's good enough. It does not look like it was designed by a, 14-year-old. But it also doesn't look like it was designed by a marketing, mega firm, which I appreciate. It does look like it has its own thing. There's a lot of hidden meaning within the logo. There's a hidden state of Utah on the left of the mammoth head. The tusk is a U for Utah, obviously. And then the mountain range on the top of its head to, suggest the Wasatch Mountain Range. Overall, I prefer the Utah Hockey Club, but hey, I can see myself coming around. Depending on what they do with the Mammoth and what they want to do, like for the in-game atmosphere, like maybe there'll be like a Mammoth trumpet call instead of a goal horn. I think that would be pretty cool. Tusks Up is going to be the rallying cry. That seems a little silly to me. It seems really silly to me, but here we go. Furthermore, another quote from the Smiths: "From day one, we committed that this team would be built with and for the people of Utah, and we are excited to celebrate today's launch with the entire state." That was your first mistake. This is why we don't let fans name things. Just ask the British. Anybody remember what they named their new boat? Boaty McBoatface? Yeah. They also named a snowplow they had. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they chose between names like David Plowie and Adolf Grittler. Like, that's why you don't let the community name stuff. On a compressed timeline, Utah adopted the temporary identity of the Utah Hockey Club while working on the permanent identity with the design firm Doubleday and Cartwright. So they did. It wasn't just like this one-off search where it's just, Ryan and Ashley Smith and their family were just like, all right, which one do we like the best? Which I appreciate. They went about it about as well as you can. It's just overall, I don't know. Yeah, and by the way, yes, mammoths have been found in the state of Utah. Paleontologists have found mammoth bones at various spots in the state, some so well preserved that they still contain tatters of DNA. And that's from the National History Museum of Utah. So, it is true. Mammoths did live here in Utah 10,000 years ago. If you're looking for merch at this point in time, good luck. There was a line, again, around the block like there was when the Utah Hockey Club was here. I would posit about 70% of those people are scalpers. So do not buy anything online from them, please. And the rest of the stuff, just be patient. It'll come out. It'll come out, and you'll be able to get it. There's no rush on this like there was with the Utah Hockey Club, because with the Utah Hockey Club, that would have been that they are now collector's items because they are no longer called that. So I'll be able to, walk into those games 10 years from now with my Clayton Keller jersey with the inaugural day patch and be kind of cool. Same thing with the hat I have and stuff like that. So if you got your hands on that stuff, kudos to you. You got some collector's items. But the uniforms keep the same striping design and color scheme, which I appreciate. Black at home, white on the road. The players' numbers will be in Mammoth Sands, is what they're calling it. Inside the collar of both jerseys, it will say established in 2024, which is pretty cool. The jerseys will become available when every other team's jerseys for the next season come available. So it's going live with everybody else. There's not going to be an altered timeline like there was last year. And hopefully there won't be a shortage of stock like we ran into, where after the first month you couldn't get it until the season started, which was kind of ridiculous. But the Utah draft picks at the NHL draft in LA, which will be June 27th, for anyone who cares, they will be wearing hats as well as jerseys of the new Mammoth. So if you want a sneak peek of what that stuff looks like, you can look at it there if you don't want to look at posed photos and stuff. But overall, this is why you don't let every other new franchise in every other sport take this as a warning. This is not why you let the fans name stuff. You just tell them what is going to be named, and then you come up with some fluff piece by a few of these media outlets that say they did in-depth research. They polled privately a bunch of season ticket holders, and this is the name that they came up with, and people will go with that. You don't have to do a public vote like this. But overall, Tusks Up. I don't know. Let's go Mammoth. I don't know. I want to keep the Let's Go Utah chant. I really like that. It was really good. But I do think that changing the goal sound to a Mammoth trumpet would be really cool. And I think it would be really unique across the NHL. Because otherwise it's just like a horn, right? So, and I want to leave you with this little tidbit here that I found from one of these articles. And it's that Mammoth wasn't in the clear completely. They did clear it with like the patent office, which nixed the Yeti. There is a National Lacrosse League Colorado Mammoth, like literally right next door to us here in Utah. But Kroenke Sports and, Stan Kroenke, who owns that and a whole bunch of other teams, like, for example, Arsenal, he owns them. They are in full support of the Utah team name, so there won't be any petty lawsuits going on there. And then lastly here, as for Utah Hockey Club, the team said that name and branding will always be a part of our history and could be honored in a nostalgic way in the years to come. So throwback jerseys. That's what they mean by that. It's going to be throwback jerseys, and they're going to sell those throwback jerseys and stuff. So that's what's going to happen. We are now no longer the club. We will no longer be clubbing our opponents. No more Doge with the baseball bat clubbing players on Reddit. It is now the Mammoth. And all I have to say is thank heavens it's not the Outlaws. And even further, it's not the Venom or what else was on there that was ridiculous. The Seagulls, the Wasatch, even the Yeti I didn't really like. So, the Blizzard, oh my goodness. That's one I really wanted to touch on in this little quick episode is the Blizzard would have been a disaster. And I talked to you all about it a few months ago when they were talking about it because I don't know how many of you remember. I hope a lot of you remember back in the 90s when the Miller family owned everything here in Utah when it came to sports. Everything had to have a double Z at the end because of the Jazz. So we had the Jazz, we had the Buzz, which were then renamed the Stingers, and then we had the Grizz for the Grizzlies. We had the Stars, the WNBA team, and it was just ridiculous. If we added the Blizz, holy moly. Nope. And that's what would have happened if the Miller family owned this team. I really think that would have happened. But, all right. So that's really what it is. Utah will wear its new Mammoth logo on home jerseys and the state's name on away jerseys, according to the Carolina Hurricanes is the only teams currently wearing a logo on one jersey and a word mark on the other. According to Utah, the road jerseys continue messaging from the team's inaugural season to put a prominent focus on representing Utah when we are away from the state, which is pretty cool. And it's true. If you look at all of like the jerseys of all of the teams, it's always they have their logo on there, and it's never like where they're from. So Carolina and Utah are the ones carrying that torch, and that's pretty cool. That part is pretty cool. But I just wanted to get this quick episode out for you guys. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you for regularly scheduled programming in a few days. Take care.